And boom, we are live. Welcome everyone back into Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, and I take great pleasure in being your tour guide as we go along and look at the major topics that are happening in crypto today, sometimes yesterday, and sometimes tomorrow to make sure that you are on top of things. So a warm welcome back if you are a subscriber, and if you're not, I invite you to return by hitting that bell icon and hitting that subscribe button. And of course, thank you if you hit that like button. It goes a long way to helping us out here on YouTube as we go ahead and get started here. So let's take a look at and welcome everyone live. Why did I delete the channel? I wish I had an answer for that, wizard of YouTube, but it turns out you can't get a channel back once you permanently deleted all the video. There is a warning there. It's kind of a bummer, I'm not gonna lie, but it's all right. We're starting over and maybe it'll go to brand new direction. I know the quality of subs has been extraordinary compared to the amount of spam accounts and inactive accounts that I had before. And just downright bullies sometimes. Right now, we have a really great community, I think, of informed folks. So that's the positive side of things. Although we're not yet monetized, so anything you guys can do, especially big thanks to our Patreon, to anybody who tips via PayPal or the ETH donation link down below, that would be a huge boon and going a long way to making sure we can continue to do this. So let's get started here. Ooh, wrong button. So actually, let's look at the prices. So we're down a bit today. We have Bitcoin down about 3.3%. We have Ethereum down 3%. Still nothing too grave. They're still range bound to where they've been in these channels. So it's not like we're completely in bearish territory. We have precious metals up. We have oil dropping below $90 for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine. So that's of note. That's a little bit of reprieve at the pump. Apparently, demand has been slowing down. Some of the big fears around monkeypox and what that could be doing to markets, although I doubt that's really what is affecting things. For the most part, I think it's just markets playing out how markets are playing out. Buyers and sellers each taking whatever side they want to based on their longer term metrics. I'm hearing a lot of people becoming concerned about the Fed. You had Neil Kashkari, somebody who's very dovish the Fed, coming out and saying that we could see inflation below above 2% their target for a long time to come, and so that could be a sign that they will continue to tighten, that causing constraints on the market. And yeah, I guess take your pick of what kind of fear you want to take, but there are also bullish things. The Fed might have to reverse course. They've done most of the rate hikes that they'll be able to without breaking things, and you want to be buying the dip like some of these institutions are doing, and so that could be what's pushing up markets. Of course, enthusiasm, I think, for the Ethereum merge coming up, keeping things somewhat elevated. We were bleeding quite a lot until we got the announcement of a closer to harder date, like a medium soft date. What is it? Like a, not Parmesan cheese, not bufala de mozzarella, but I guess we could go with buffalo cheese kind of works. It's a soft date, but maybe September 19th could be around when we get the merge, certainly some point around then, as we've gotten most of the testing done for that. And plenty more upgrades. You got the splurge, the merge, the purge. I mean, so many other upgrades coming to Ethereum that should be taking it to about 100,000 transactions per second, possibly scaling it even beyond Visa. Very exciting when we're talking about the connecting the entire world through, I guess, using these new tools of monetary value transaction that we're using now for NFTs and so many other exploratory use cases, beginning with just the basics of money. Very exciting times to be involved. And I know for myself, what is it? Omar is climbing back with vengeance. Yeah, hopefully, Renee Pap, with your help, we're doing good. Good buying opportunity, you say. I feel like so. I'm still involved. Oh, look, it's Mehdi. What's up, Mehdi? I was thinking about you the other day. Big hugs to you, bro. I love you, bro. So here we are looking at the chart here for Bitcoin. As I've said, it's not looking too bearish. We're still climbing up. Of course, we've had other points where we've climbed up and then just gotten smacked down. So hopefully that doesn't happen right now. RSI on the 14 on the 1 day here is at a 50. So not too hot, not too oversold, not too overbought. I particularly like this chart that I found here. Someone put together on Reddit. It just kind of zoomed into the near term here. And you can see the channels here. So you can see the downward channel, and you can see the upward channel here on the right, and you can see these recent ranges that we've got here going across here horizontally. And so what we're looking at here is this vertical channel that continues to climb. Even though we haven't dropped below this channel, so we still could very well be trending upwards with just normal corrections on the way down. And if I would say the major thing to be looking at for a breakout to the upside is if we break this bigger channel here that's been going down, the bearish channel. If this continues upward and breaks beyond that, I would say that's a good sign that we could be in bullish territory. Really, just looking at technical metrics here. That's pretty much the main things I want to touch on with the price. Not too much, as I've said, but I do want to get into some of the news, for example, about these digital collectibles. So these NFTs that are going to be available now on Instagram. This was announced by Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call them, Mark Zuckerberg. They're expanding. Well, they've already been running pilots from what I understand of this, but now they're going to be expanding that to 100 countries, officially opening up in Africa, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and the Americas. And they're going to be supporting all sorts of wallet integrations, including MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, Dapper, and working with multiple blockchains, including Ethereum, Polygon, which is kind of an Ethereum derivative, I guess you could say, and Flow blockchain. And they're going to be, other wallets, I suppose, Rainbow, Trust Wallet, some of the bigger wallets out there. Coinbase Wallet has been, everyone's just been so gaga recently about Coinbase Wallet. I'm hearing great things with the recent update. For example, you see links directly to some of the most popular smart contract DeFi platforms like Uniswap right there in the Coinbase Wallet, which is a self-custodial wallet. So you're not trusting Coinbase to hold your funds. You keep possession of that. You store, you protect your private keys yourself, and so on. So I wanted to give you a heads up there if you're not aware of that. There are no fees, they said, associated with posting or sharing a digital collectible on Instagram. I don't know exactly how that's going to push to the blockchain, of course, but it looks like at least it'll be centrally hosted on one of Facebook's servers. Although it does look like they're running their own nodes, or I guess they could be plugging into Infura and others, but it's really nice to see, I guess, Facebook getting involved more with public blockchains here rather than with their own efforts. And they're doing so with something that I think is really hip to culture, just like Instagram and Facebook are hip to the mainstream, so are NFTs, and so they've been blowing up as a way for people to commemorate their favorite artists or their favorite styles of art. I mean, it could be, you could buy an NFT for any of numerous reasons, but it'll be as simple as connecting a digital wallet, sharing your digital collectibles on there, which will have a shimmer effect and can display public information such as the description of the NFT. And also you can go ahead and share tagging of both the creator and the collector pending your own privacy options that you have on there. So that should be really nice for people. It says here, we collect and organize public data from open blockchains such as Ethereum to provide this feature. So great job, Facebook. I think a step in the right direction for what they're doing. Of course, it is Facebook that's going to be plugging into your wallet. So if you're going to be plugging your personal wallet with all your funds that has your NFT into Facebook, I imagine they would probably be mining some of that data as well. So I guess that's something to consider. Also, it looks like Zuckerberg had someone mail him an old Little League baseball card of his. That will be something that will be available for purchase. He says he's not minting it himself, but I guess if you want to have this cute little picture of Mark Zuckerberg before he, went a little bit crazier looking, I guess you could say, to be nicer. He looks almost like a normal person, right? Look at his eyes. They're not that red. So not compared to his uniform. But nah, nice, cute smile. I gotta say, I kind of like this picture. Humanizes him somewhat. He says, I'm sharing my soon-to-be NFT old Little League baseball card, which someone recently found and sent me to. And MCO Mike Connect has the backstory on the baseball card, if that is of interest to you. So there was a lot of drama that took place yesterday in regards to a hack that took place with Solana. Where was it? Actually, let's get into that right now. So in regards to Solana, there was now over 9,000 wallets. We can check it here on Dune that were hacked. 9,224 unique wallets that are being tracked that yesterday seem to have lost USDC. They lost Solana tokens to a tune of yesterday I heard estimates of 5.2 million, but it looks like now it's coming in at about $4.1 million. Not a massive amount when you're looking at some of the huge hacks that we've had recently, but still kind of concerning when some of the wallets that were being hacked were wallets that had not been active, sometimes in cases for greater than even 6 months. You open up your wallet and all your funds were gone. You can see why that was extremely scary. And it was a huge mysterious thing as to why this was even happening, because this was not open at all. It was not open source. A lot of these wallets that were being used by people. So you had investigators trying to personally go up to people and ask for information. What was your experience like? What wallets did you use actively? What websites did you visit? And everything started pointing to Slope Finance. So this was a Web3 wallet for Solana to make it easy to interact with the entire ecosystem and to store your NFTs and show them off beautifully. It looks like there was a huge issue with it where private keys were suddenly being compromised and publicly shared, it looks like, and that's what ultimately led to this. But it was hard to get to the bottom of this, and it's still something I think being investigated by auditors, by security researchers for the most part, to see exactly what happened. But it was an issue because of the closed source nature of these wallets. So yeah, it looks cool that you're not sharing your code with everyone else. You can keep it proprietary, but since no one can really, the public can't necessarily look at that code, it can open up all sorts of issues. So as this came up, you had researchers from many different blockchains trying to figure out what was going on, and they just had the hardest time because of the closed source nature of this. And it was very weird, all of this. Lefteris said, so I heard a few things about Slope Finance wallet, so I tried to investigate. Within 5 minutes, he had noticed that it was an open source, no GitHub link, that the privacy policy on Slope Finance was an unedited copy and paste of the consensus code from, mainly Ethereum. I still think they're only Ethereum folks, right? So codefi.consensus.net, you can see on the private policy here on Slope Finance site, they didn't even change it to their own, just straight up copy and paste. They did the exact same thing here with the contact information. We welcome your comments or questions about this policy, and you may contact us at privacy@consensus.net. I thought you were Slope Finance. And this, as Lefteris points out, could be worrisome if you can imagine the code. Yep. Terrible hack, of course. I'm not going to get too much into it. I just didn't even feel like the main things that were coming up yesterday, that was the main subject, was this entire hack and trying to get to the bottom of it. But it did upset a lot of small-time hodlers. There's this rant that's quite popular today on the cryptocurrency subreddit, Rant by Flying Coke Sister. Why I'm done with Solana, the Sol token, and why you should pull out too. Ooh, giving that advice. Typed on mobile. So primarily the people who lost funds actually were on mobile. I forgot to point that out. At first there were suspicions that it was iOS only, but it's come out, as far as I can see, it was isolated to Slope Finance, not mobile wallets alone. And Slope Finance operates for your Chrome. It can operate on your Android, so I don't know that it's isolated solely to iOS. But typed on mobile, this rant. Somewhere in the sub, I read about dollar cost averaging top 10 coins outperform trying to find the next moonshot over the long term. Haven't we all? Solana was a top 10 coin at some point in time, so I decided time to expand my portfolio and buy some Sol. At first, it was quite nice. The concentrated liquidity pools, world pools on the Orca Dex was really nice, and I was making sweet returns provided I monitored the price range closely. Then came network issues, downtimes. Orca didn't work because the Sol network was down. I heard they've gone down 5 times this year. That's the tally that I've heard. My order pool fell below my liquidity range due to the price drop, and I lost because I couldn't pull out my liquidity. Not learning my lesson, I continued on until yesterday. So yeah, network goes down when you need to be managing your your pooling and so on. Terrible, your liquidity providing. Then came yesterday's hack. Hot wallets being drained. No one knows what's happening. I log into my Solflare wallet. Nothing. Frack, looks like I got hacked. I decided to check out the Blockchain Explorer, enter my wallet address, and I get error not found. Oh my! On my way, did this hacker hack me? I think he meant, oh my God. Did this hacker hack me so hard my wallet is off the network? I double checked my wallet addresses and I tried opening up my different services and browsers and using my seed phrase. Still nothing. My Sol and liquidity pools were gone. Never seen anything like this happen on Ethereum, I will say that, or on Bitcoin. Like any investor, I made peace with this and moved on with my day. After all, Sol was simply one coin in a balanced portfolio. Last night I thought, let me report my wallet as being affected by the hack in case there are compensation schemes. But first, I'll double check my wallets. And my word, all my Sol, all my liquidity pools, all there. Like magic. I'm grateful I swapped into ETH, but I'm also done with Sol. So if you're still into Sol as an investor, ask yourself, how can this crap chain can be restarted by devs on demand? Why does crap chain has multiple downtime a year? Why the hell can your coins not be seen the morning of the hack? Is the network so overwhelmed that you can't even see coins in the Blockchain Explorer? I thought Sol was supposed to be super fast. Why the hell must we defend poor service? Other blockchains offer speed, reliability, and DeFi too. I'm grateful I finally pulled out with no losses, and I hope you manage to pull out too. Sol has a long way to go before it reaches reliability and uptime of other blockchains. Thank you for reading. TLDR, I pulled out of Sol. Network downtime losses me money. Inability to track my coins during hacks, networks, overloads, blockchain explorers. It shatters my confidence in the network. You should pull out too. So nice to see that this user didn't lose funds, as we might have thought that was where this was going. But he has certainly a great point. What use, again, is a blockchain if it doesn't have significant uptime? The 99.99997% uptime that you see with Ethereum, or a little bit less for Bitcoin, I believe, since they did have some downtime. But generally, you want to be able to at least peek on a Blockchain Explorer and see your address and check out what's going on, see if you were affected by the hack. You can see why this could have been troubling for some individual. And a lot of this could have taken place because apparently the network was being denial of service attacked by white hat hackers who were trying to slow down the hack to help protect others. So I guess it's good, but it's kind of scary that your network, your favorite blockchain, can be attacked so easily in such a small amount of time and so cheaply, it appears, as to stop the network for most people. And yeah, they had a minor outage I had seen yesterday, but it seemed like a little bit more than a minor outage. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know what you guys thought throughout this whole drama. I have no position in Sol. I have no plans to take any position in Sol. I mean, if I haven't shown you example after example why, then I must not know what I'm doing. Anyway, it's a little bit scary. What's going on here with the chat? Let's make sure everything is good. I seem to have missed it for now. The chat is not open for me. Let me see. Oh, heyo, Jeremiah Nickel in the chat. Big hugs, brother. I hope you're having a nice day and a nice week yourself. I want to know how the price of Sol never dumps after hacks and blockchain halts. I would assume a lot of that liquidity is held by the very VCs and institutions, right? They I guess don't want to dump. They didn't buy Solana to buy into decentralized coin. No, they bought into the blockchain that they can shill through other. I mean, marketing is a beautiful thing. Really, you can phrase a narrative around anything. And instead of focusing on the decentralized narrative and the uptime narrative, they'll focus on something else, like the amount of partnerships they're creating and the amount of NFTs that are trading on there and whatever else. If you're venture capitalists, also, oftentimes you have lockup periods where you can't sell. So they might just be locked up there. I haven't directly looked into any sort of lockups for that. So maybe you can share, someone else can share some sort of information of that if they've been following. Thank you so much for the welcome back. We fix phones, and DC for reminding everyone to hit the likes. Raj has been a long time follower of the show. Thank you so much, Raj. I saw Raj actually on Steemit, and Steemit was somewhere I used to post my videos early on. I used to make sometimes like $20 a video. I felt like a real boss early on in crypto. But Steemit has it's turned into a big nothing, and I primarily use Hive, the Hive blockchain, the Hive network right now. Highly encourage you to check out Hive. I believe there's a link in the description below. And it would be great to have you on there. I think I have like 14,000 followers, and I do share my videos there as well. I do appreciate the community there. It's one where you can write something really interesting. You can get upvoted and make some cash. So if that's of interest to you, check that out if you have never done so before. So Coinbase today, this is one of the biggest news, and it caused Coinbase's stock to go up 60% over the last few days. They were really a phenomenal rally, but today was specifically a 20% rise, and then it tapered off to a 10% rise. Sorry, Coinbase. But it was news that the world's largest asset manager, assets under management to the tune of about $10 trillion since January 22, Blackrock. You probably know them because they're the ones supposedly buying up all the real estate in the world so that we have none. Well, Blackrock has partnered with Coinbase, it seems, to offer to customers or clients of their Aladdin arm. So if you use Aladdin on Blackrock, you can go ahead and integrate that with Coinbase and be able to buy Bitcoin. And in the future, it'll also be, as it says here, direct access to crypto. So it's starting with Bitcoin, but it's probably going to be opening up to many, as it says here, starting with Bitcoin, to many other coins, or at least some of the top coins like Ethereum, very soon, providing brand new liquidity. Again, that doesn't mean it's going to be $10 trillion of money coming into crypto, but it's nice. It's another leg. And as Barry Silbert says here, the world's largest asset manager just validated Bitcoin as an asset that belongs in an institutional investor portfolios. This is going to be managed using the Coinbase Prime product that we discussed in the last video, how Coinbase Prime was opening up to institutional investors. And wow, the biggest institutional investor all time is the next one, the very next, I guess, 2 days later, that is added there to Coinbase. So we'll see what comes of that. Very interesting to see that. I thought this was of note. This was in a Reuters article. Institutional trading volumes on Coinbase in the first quarter of 22 were $235 billion for institutional trading volume, compared with $74 billion, substantially less than a third, which was retail customers filing show. While that institutional volume was down compared with the previous 3 quarters, it was up just over 99% compared with the same quarter last year. So institutional types are blowing up. See, me and you, the the moms and the pops, we were the first ones to get behind crypto. The cyberpunks, the believers. Now it's the institutions. It's the behemoths. It's those who have money getting more money who are primarily involved, at least with Coinbase here. And I think that is interesting because Coinbase I had seen as a big retail, but it looks like maybe retail went to other platforms. Maybe it's Binance US. I doubt it. More likely Kraken, Gemini, and some of the others. But I wonder if it's similar with some of those exchange where retail just is not as interested as we're seeing with institutions right now. And to me, it's a sign also that institutions might be staking they're staking themselves in a huge play here for what could be coming up. Maybe they know something that we don't. Why would BlackRock be positioning themselves at this time right now? Usually timing does matter with these sorts of announcements and integrations. And it's been wild to me to see things like this happen since in prior bear markets, it really is a true crypto winter. This is a strange crypto winter where you still see news like this coming out. That's what it feels like to me anyway. Kevin OLeary kind of made a mistake, though, because he dumped his Coinbase shares, just like Kathy Wood, who we had talked about of ARK Invest, kind of dumped Coinbase shares at an inopportune time. Coinbase was one of the hardest hit. It was down like 80% at one point throughout the year of tech stocks that had been taking a beating during this recent bear market in the stock market that eventually we came out of the bear market. But who knows if we do enter it. But anyway, Coinbase has recovered quite nicely recently because of some of this recent news. But Kevin OLeary had called it toxic waste, primarily because of the war with the regulators. You remember the SEC talking about Coinbase possibly having listed and allowing for trading unregistered securities out of nowhere. I got out, says OLeary, because of the war that they are taking on with the regulator. I have come to the conclusion, he said Wednesday on CNBC's Fast Money halftime report, in my investing career, that when you litigate the regulator, that's never a good time. Coinbase has gone to war with the regulator, and I'm a regulated guy. Obviously, I don't want to own any shares of a company that has gone to war with the regulator that regulates me. No thanks. I may as well take the pain, take the loss. This is in regards to Robinhood. He sold Robinhood too, although I think that's less of a cleaner play than Coinbase. I'll move on and wait for this drama to play out in Washington, D.C. This stuff is coming. I think these names are toxic waste until it's resolved. Sorry, bruh. Well, I mean, Coinbase could continue down, and hopefully he's done his homework more than Jim Cramer, who seems to flip-flop on his opinions with crypto left and right just to serve whatever audience is in front of him at that time. Let me take a sip of tea. Senate bill introduced by a Debbie Stabenow and John Boozman. What's his name? John, where's John's name here? Anyway, John Boozman. I was right. John Boozman of Arkansas, and you have Democratic Debbie Stabenow. So you have a Republican and a Democratic putting out this bill that is hoping to cast the regulation of cryptocurrencies under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, rather than the aforementioned in the last section SEC, which is trying to regulate by enforcement. Instead, the CFTC regulates commodities. And if you look at cryptocurrencies, they may more likely be commodities rather than securities. That is the great battle of our time. Are they something that investors put money into and hope goes up in number based on the actions and efforts of others for this common enterprise? Or are they commodities like gold, silver? Isn't gold 2.0 supposed to be Bitcoin, this asset that doesn't necessarily generate any sort of revenue in and of itself? I guess it's still arguable whether Ethereum is or not, but again, it's something that you need to take active effort in order to generate some sort of yield to stake. So I don't know how well that fits into the how we test definition, but this potentially would be very nice and something seen in a positive light for the most part by the cryptocurrency community. This is a battle as old as time, so hopefully this one goes somewhere. From my understanding, this is one that does have the potential to go somewhere relative to past efforts. Really, it's just a lot of talk around the CFTC and SEC and other regulatory bodies, each trying to get their piece of this. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up since I didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday. And I think it could be good for the cryptocurrency market cap, of course, if it was more regulated under the CFTC. The CFTC actually is about 1/6 smaller than the SEC, so they wouldn't be as burdensome probably on companies as well because of how they have less requirements in order for listing of something, although you still would have to have these exchanges like Coinbase register with the CFTC in order to abide by regulations. We will see where that goes, if that goes anywhere. Multi-million dollars. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. Link to to the wallet. We talked about Left Terrace, Solana hack, the rant. Yeah, we're coming back to the beginning here. I thought this was of note. So this was making the rounds by Christopher Bloomstrand, who was taking a look at MicroStrategy earnings. MicroStrategy, the company that holds Bitcoin in their treasury, they hold the most Bitcoin in their treasury, in their balance sheet as a reserve asset. But there is the potential that they could be burning cash here, according to this post on Twitter, this thread, and that they might have to sell Bitcoin soon. And it could point to a reason for as to why Michael Saylor might be sailing out of his position as CEO, maybe to open it up so that the company can sell Bitcoin without him. Yeah. He's going to be leading our Bitcoin advocacy efforts. Yep. Anyway, at $400 million, 12.7% pop on a $400 million, 12.7% pop on MicroStrategy earnings must have been a huge quarter, but was it? You'd have to look far and wide for a management so determined to mask reality. I don't recall a more deceitful and puffed earnings release and call by any company, maybe Enron. You also don't see many companies have the IR person ask questions of management during an analyst call. In theory, they are screened, but with pure softballs and no attribution as to which analysts ask the questions, it's hard to believe the questions asked are even legit, though it might be useful to ask a few questions of Saylor and his team and see if they can help shed some light on issues not necessarily made clear yesterday. Of course, it might be foolish to expect a reply given the way the company presents its condition, but we'll see. First off, there was no mention of whether MicroStrategy earned cash from operations in the quarter or how much. How could you help clarify? If one compares the March 31st statement of cash flows to June 30th, it seems the company produced $43.7 million at 3/31 and $22.9 million at 6/30. The difference suggests a quarterly cash loss from operations of $20.8 million. True? It's funny because no mention was made of a cash loss from operating activities. Lots of discussion about non-cash write-downs, but no discussion of bleeding cash at the software company. An operational loss of $20.8 million would be your largest quarterly loss since 2001, when the tech bubble and MSTR MicroStrategy were imploding. Lots of talks about growth despite declining sales and accounting write-downs of Bitcoin. Software is supposed to support the Bitcoin bet. Question 2, if you are burning cash, will you continue to do so and at what rate? At a $20.8 million quarterly burn, your $69.4 million cash balance gives you less than a year before you need to raise new capital or sell Bitcoin, which you swore yesterday you would not do. Reminds me about those who swore to us that they would never be freezing withdrawals right before they did. Yeah, we can trust those folks. Saylor with his fun antics. Oh man, he doesn't even have anything to tweet anymore. If you check out his Twitter thread, he's just tweeting whatever these days. Anyway, I think that we're gonna be reaching the end of the show very soon, and I wanted to thank you so much for joining me again. Not trying to make them uber long, but I do want to go ahead and give you a broad overview of the most important things that are happening, to commemorate them for history, to share the ride together, and to make sure that you can position yourself based on this. With whatever is best for you. I love each and every one of you, and I want to thank you so much for this. I will also, I forgot to mention this, we had a family member, L's family member, my partner, who had a shattered finger completely. He works as a handyman, and he dropped an engine on his finger. It blew out. He has a GoFundMe. I'm going to be posting in the description. I haven't done it just yet, but I will be doing that in just a second. Actually, I'll post it right here, a link to the GoFundMe. If you can help out anything, it would be of huge help to him, since he can't really work with a completely blown out finger. Although he's been able to raise a little bit, it would help with his utilities bills and everything else, since he can't pay bills right now. And I will finish here with our quote of the day before I actually wrap up here. Oh, this is the GoFundMe right here. Actually, I meant to show that to you guys. Again, I put it in the chat, and I will put it in the description down below later on. Anything you can do would be a huge help for Alejandro. So here's our quote of the day by Martin Luther King. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. I've said this one before, but I think it should be repeated, and especially considering just the corrupt nature of our politicians. I will play this clip that I found yesterday on Twitter by Dylan Leclerc, showing how disconnected Fed officials are from average people. Check out Mary. So you remember Mary Daly, who was the Fed official who was touted out about 3-4 days ago to remind us that the Fed does not give a shit about what we think and what the economy is. They will continue to tighten and destroy everything as much as they can. But anyway, here's her comment in regard to how she feels about inflation affecting her personally.
Follows up with the question, where are you personally seeing the impact of inflation in your own daily life?
I have to say that I live, I don't like the pain of inflation anymore. I see prices rising, but I have enough that I can make substitutions, that I can do things. So I'm not immune to gas prices rising, food prices rising. I sometimes balk at the price of things, but I don't find myself in a space where I have to make trade-offs because I have enough. Many, many Americans have enough.
Who follows up?
Many Americans have enough. And many Americans I can see outside here in Los Angeles are struggling more and more on the streets, tents all over the place, people really in pain, turning to drugs in order to alleviate their pain, homeless just being left to their own devices for the most part, it feels like out here. I had read that there's this project Lock Key, I believe, where they had put like 10,000 homeless people into motels. And that is about to expire in September, and they're going to be on the street. It's really worrisome when you see the situation where the gap between the haves and the have-nots continues to climb, and just the huge divide I'm seeing between renters and landlords. And even the landlords are getting shafted out here because they extended, for example, an eviction moratorium here in Los Angeles where you cannot, since the beginning of the pandemic, basically, you cannot evict somebody for not paying rent here in Los Angeles. So people could have been squatting, which is really terrible. Not squatting, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, they're following the rules here. They stayed there, but they still owed rent. They didn't pay it. Landlord had to foot the bill if they had some sort of mortgage and everything else, right? But eventually these people could be getting the boot, and they're going to be facing huge amounts of debt based on that rent that they never paid. It's not like it's just being forgiven. So I don't know what the mayor plans to do out here. I don't know what the president plans to do out there. And I don't know what we're going to do, but I know that we need to support each other, love each other through increasingly difficult times for others, not just Americans, but around the world. And I think, again, as I've said before, crypto has been one of the only things that has afforded me the opportunity as someone who has had nothing, right? And I pretty much have nothing right now. So it's like, I had read this on Twitter. I'm not poor. I'm in between money. I like that. And I hope that it can continue to help you guys and will continue to provide for you. I have almost no doubt it will. If you stick around long enough, if you learn, you stay voracious, then you will find great benefit and you will learn so much by being involved. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey, and I invite you to return next time. Take care. Much love, everyone, and stay cryptic. Peace.